This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novellie. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Furthermore, we have a guest today, which doesn't happen that often. We'll be joined later in the show by the comedian Tim Key, who I think we can call a friend of the show. We only really interview about 6 people in rotation.
A closed circuit.
Exactly. I don't know how that's happened.
We have there's David Baddiel, Neil Gaiman, is he in
Neil
the Six?
Gaiman, we had on Stephen
The Skinner
Moffat,
Six,
Ian
yeah.
Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want strangers to interview.
It'd be quite a sort of cowboy gang.
Yeah, it's a bit cold. It's a bit of a cold start with a stranger.
There's no ramp.
Yeah, you need a ramp.
They don't know our stories.
Yeah.
I had a bit of comedy heartbreak yesterday. You must have had this, Pierre. Maybe you too, Em. When you notice something and you think, "Oh, this is brilliant." I wonder if anyone else has noticed this. And in the old days, pre-internet, it wasn't a problem. You just went on stage, did it, blah, blah, blah. It's great. But then you think, I'd better check. And then someone asks, I'll tell you one day about the terrible long story about when I thought I had a brilliant idea for a joke which centred around the pun Marangatan.
I mean, it sounds peak you.
Yeah. And I went on to the internet and went into a real dark wormhole of... But anyway, that's for another day. With this one, because I've been teaching my son guitar recently, I watched, as I think many people have, the trailer, as it's now called. You know, you get that dress. The trailer, which I'm sure Emily has seen, is for the Harry and Meghan series on Netflix. And he plays guitar in one picture of them lovingly together. And the chord he's playing is one I have never seen before. So, Buzz, my son, who's 10 and a half, said, hold on a minute. He went and got the guitar and we froze the frame of the thing and he got the thing and he hit the chord. It was the ugliest sound. It is no chord.
CSI Skinner.
And I wondered if he's trying to, maybe he was trying to represent the discord that they endured at the palace.
That's the name of the chord.
But I think more likely he was trying to pretend he could play guitar. In a sort of an Owl and the Pussycat kind of a strange way. Sort of, I'd recommend the trailer on Netflix, though.
I would say the entire sound bed, yes, I use sound bed, of that trailer. It's a real example of using music to underline, because there's a point when I think they're in Westminster Abbey or there's some occasion, and they cut to Arcade.
They cut to Kate, yeah.
Glancing over with a slight, it's a bit Wicked Witch, the music.
Well, the expression.
I don't like it.
They found smiley, sweet girl next door. Well, girl next door if you live in a mansion.
Girl across Hyde Park.
Yeah. It seems everyone's friend. They've got a picture of her looking like she's going, come on then. And then cut to Meghan in tears. I mean, oh man.
It's a similar sort of approach to the X Factor producers.
Yes, yeah. You're going to edit in a baddie.
Clap of thunder.
Anyway, continuing the royal theme, I did the Royal Variety performance this week. You may be able to tell by my voice, by the way, that I've been ill this week. I was so ill on Tuesday. I started watching England-Wales in the World Cup, and after 10 minutes, I went to bed and gave up. Now that's ill. But nevertheless, the show must go on. And so, yes, it was the Royal Variety performance was recorded at the Royal Albert Hall. royal this, royal that. And it was, apart from the fact that I was dying on my feet, it was quite an adventure, which I will share with you after this, baby.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I was... the Royal Variety performance is... a long day. This is my third, and it always works the same. They get you there about 9:30, and you're released from the venue at about 11 o'clock. And they don't like you leaving in case you disappear. Once the Royals are on, no one can leave or enter the building.
Is this 9:30 a.m.?
Yes.
Oh,
And
my
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
Oh,
And you're in there, and it's all shared dressing rooms.
it's very nearly a whole day.
I would say that's a whole
Yeah.
day, and it feels like one. So we had me and Dave arrived, and I'd lay in bed that morning thinking, shall I pull out? Because I really did. I couldn't speak hardly. But anyway, doctor theatre, which doesn't work on throats, but never mind. So I was sharing a dressing room with David Baddiel, Al Murray, Axel Blake, who won Britain's Got Talent, comedian, Omid Jalili, and the male members of Chic. That was our little gathering.
Extraordinary.
High morale.
And all day long, you're walking around the corridors and just bumping into, various celebrities. There's a lot of comedians. The person who made me laugh the most on the day was, are you familiar with Becky Hill?
Oh, yes.
Becky Hill was absolutely hilarious. Becky hilarious. That's what I can't tell you any of the jokes she told me, but I'll tell you off air.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think she might be moving towards a stand-up act, so I'm not going to tell any of her stuff. She was great. And she's from Bewdley, which is not far from where I grew up. It's in Worcestershire, and it was the first family holiday I went on because we thought the sea was a bit far, but the River Severn was only 12 miles away. So we went and stayed on the river. So we never went ever on holiday, and we went for a week, 12 miles from our home. But she'd never seen the boar. And there is a thing... Now, I always look to Pierre at these moments because he knows everything. Have you heard of the Severn boar?
I don't think so.
Nah. Well, the Severn boar is a mysterious, some might say a mystical wave that comes down the River Severn on occasion. Locals try to surf it. Right? There's a big surf culture in Bewdley.
People sort of hanging 10 and giving the...
That's one of the most adorable things is British surfers.
Yeah.
So adorable.
Oh, yeah, they're a brave bunch. No, I love that new key and all that, yeah. But if there's anyone listening, 8, 12, 15, who knows a bit more about the boar, if you've seen the boar, I've never... Becky Hill hasn't seen the boar, and she's from Bewdley.
And is it boar as in the animal or the...
No, I think it's boar as in the person.
Which person?
Well, I'll tell you as this... you'll see as this story continues. But anyway, I love Becky Hill. She's great. So...
Have you heard her? Are you familiar with her material?
I'm not going to pretend I'm familiar with her material. I didn't even pretend to her, so I'm not going to pretend to you.
She's got what Tom Jones would say is a great pair of pipes.
Oh, okay.
Great pipes on her.
Okay. Well, she had an amazing electric green spangled outfit on. She was just like some enormous energy force that entered the room. She was brilliant. I'm going to listen to all her stuff now. I've become what's the name for her fans? They sort of Beck Boys.
No, it should be something to do with Hill. Surely we can come up. You know what? I'm going to hand that over to the two comics. And you've got this musical break.
I'm going to hand it over to the audience as well. What? People, if they're like the Beliebers and stuff like that.
What should we call
What
them?
should the Becky Hill fans?
I'm going in first with Hillocks.
Okay, I like it. I like it. That'd be particularly good for the smaller children who like her.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was telling my associates and you all about my day at the Royal Variety performance, where I was gradually getting more ill and more ill as the day went on. And sorry, did we get any Becky Hill fans?
Ruth Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, she always delivers.
Yeah.
Becky Hill fans. Becky Hillbillies.
Oh, that's good.
Hillbillies is good.
I wondered if we could revive, seeing as he's not using it anymore, Hill's Angels.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, Neil from Brighton also suggests the Beckerley Hillbillies. So he's added.
Oh.
So we've got two choices here.
Yeah, both good though. What was that?
they?
What was Ruth's again?
Ruth was...
Straight up Hillbillies.
She was straight up Hillbillies, I think.
I think Beckerley Hillbillies is a bit even more elaborate. I like a baroque version of fandom.
Buccaneers.
Good. Yeah, good.
There's a piratical element to that.
Yeah, obviously. I got that. So anyway, I was struggling. And
Yes.
to the point where I said to George Ezra, you must know some things for a throat.
Yeah.
You said that to George Ezra?
Yeah, he's very approachable, George Ezra. He's
Well,
very...
you must know some things.
No, I said George.
Extraordinary introduction.
My throat's killing me. I said, you must know, you're a singer. He said, I worked with a woman and she used to swear by wearing wet socks for a sore throat. I said, George, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, I didn't get it, but she used to wear them like on the
You must have
tour
thought
bus.
you were having a sort of fevered vision. At this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
George Ezra mumbling to you
And
about
then we
wet socks.
discussed Tom. I'd seen Tom Jones, an audience with Tom Jones, and George Ezra said, "Yeah, he likes a vocal zone." I said, "He does." He said, "I've seen him like shoving them in the tops of his gums when I saw him doing the thing, he had about 20 during the recording, the Tom
Vocal
Jones
zone.
thing. Anyway, so that was that. I'm name dropping a bit. It's hard not to when you're at the Royal Variety performance because they're all over. So we went out for the dress rehearsal. We were singing Three Lions, and I was. I've sang some bad versions of it, but it was honestly like. That was how it came out. And I looked across and. I looked across at the orchestra. I thought they'll be mocking me. And who was sitting in the box seat?
Who was it?
Dave Arch.
Oh, shut up.
Dave Arch, the king of Strictly. So I went over and I said, Dave, I'm such a mess. He goes, oh, no, come on. I said, honestly, you're a legend. You know? I said, we'll talk about you on the radio. He said, oh, come on. He was really sort of... I said, I really want a photo, but I don't have my camera with me. I said, I just sort of, you know, we shook hands and stuff, so he's probably ill now. And he was all right last night, if I could tell. But I thought it was an interesting thing, sort of spiritual selfie. I just sort of stood by him, and I thought I'll carry that in my heart instead of my my
Frank, what should we
phone.
call Dave Arch fans? Can we think
And
of
we
one?
can't do this all day because I'm going to name a lot
I
of
didn't say
people.
all day. I did not say all day.
Okay.
I said Dave Arch.
Okay. I don't know what we're going to call them. Okay. Architects.
Lovely.
I thought that wasn't a million miles away from chivalry. One of my all-time lows.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yes, in case you're thinking how long is he going to talk about the Royal Variety performance, still more to come. So I croaked my way through the dress rehearsal and with the death rattle and all that stuff, and then on the night, having spent by now we'd been there almost 4 weeks, it felt like. We then we did the show, and it honestly was 3 lights on, and it was.
Yeah, but what about your voice?
Yeah, honestly, I made Dave sound like Mario Lanza on the night. And it hurt as well. It actually hurt to sing it.
Yeah.
4 minutes of hurt. Never stopped me singing. But anyway, so that was that.
Was it Edward?
Well, Frank, in terms of homemade remedies
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
for your throat,
Yes.
noted life enthusiast Hunter S. Thompson, shall we say, had all sorts of reasons to have a sore throat, and Ralph Steadman wrote a big book about what a difficult man he was to work with.
We should identify that. In case you don't know, Hunter S. Thompson, famous writer who Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, for example.
Yes.
And invented, is it gonzo journalism they call
Gonzo,
it?
yes. So he put himself in all his journalistic stories.
Yes.
And
big substance enthusiast. And
Yes,
the resulting sore throats and late nights.
Yes.
He would apparently get big handfuls of Nivea hand cream and apply them directly to his own throat.
You see what
Would you consider that?
when I was a kid, we used to do a thing of spoonful of butter, and then you dip it in the sugar bowl, and then and have that straight down. But my dad would also, when he was going out, get the suit on, reach into the butter dish, get the butter on his fingers and do his hair.
Oh,
Really?
yeah, we had some friends in Glasgow, and the dad, we came down one morning and I saw he was dipping his comb in the chip pan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, comb in the chip pan.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's
Comb in the chip pan.
Frank Christoph has been in touch.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, how do you feel about, he's enclosed a picture, how do you feel about 3 lions being filed under Badil at my local record shop? Or is this his solo acoustic version? Now, he sent an image over, and it shows it's a lovely sort of slightly old-fashioned thing. Remember in record shops when you had those little black filing systems with the name written? It's got David Baddiel. You're in between John Barry and Battle Beast.
Oh, I don't know, Battle
And
Beast.
just underneath the Best of Baccarat. So... But how do you feel about this?
I'm good with it.
Good.
I still think he's the distinctive voice. By the way, Ross Buchanan played us this morning, and then I was in the car coming in, not driving today, but I was in a. What do they call them? They don't call them mini cabs anymore, do they? What do they call them? Anyway, I was in a mini cab, you know what I mean? And that came on, I'm in the back. And I thought, this bloke he might not know who I am, so it felt like a weird moment, you know. And then I saw him look in the mirror. I thought, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? I'll tell you after this.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So you have not been waiting in vain. So Ross Buchanan played 3 lines. It's Coming Home for Christmas, I think it's called. And the driver turned and said, so that's some more money for you. Oh. I thought, that's what it's always the money. But then Ross Buchanan, about 10 minutes later, said, right, now I'm going to play my first Christmas song of the year. And I thought, hold on. So anyway, I'm gonna get in touch with him about it.
Oh, I'm sure he'll look forward to that.
No, he's a very lovely fellow.
So what else happened at the Royal
Well,
Arch?
you know what usually happens? I struggled, I croaked through, really was in physical pain singing 3 lines, but got through it. I did get to play ukulele with Chic and Nile Rodgers and Sam Ryder. And Sam Ryder, I gotta say, is beyond the nicest man you could ever meet in your life. I wanted to I want to move into a commune with him and Becky Hill. Anyway, well, not everyone I met was nice. Then we have our royal thing. Now, it was Prince Edward and Sophie Wessex, as she's called. I think the Earl and Countess of Wessex and Forfar is their official title, which must be they've given all the older siblings all the good places like Wales, and then they say, right, so a fictional, not fiction, we'll have an Anglo-Saxon kingdom that doesn't exist anymore, and a Scottish League Division 2 football club. That's for you two. Mom, that's it.
What I like about Forfar is it sounds very much what an aristocrat would call a grandparent or a parent. Jacob Rees-Mogg, like, Forfar.
My Forfar.
Yeah, or an aristocrat laughing. So anyway, we lined up, and they all come. You wait for them, and they come and say something. So it's the modern world. So Sophie led the way, and bear in mind, I'd had a really hard day, and I'd battled on like a trooper. So she comes up, and me and Dave, and she says, "Well, don't give up your day job." No, this is not how the royal walk thing works.
What's her job?
And we honestly said, pardon? And it was like, no, it's supposed to be just banal compliments, not...
Well done.
And I said, well, it was it that bad? And she said, well, I could tell, it's not what you do. And I said,
she's got the line
so,
wrong,
well, normally
she?
we're like, comics. She said, yeah, but you're on screen, aren't you? Not used to a live crowd. I said, well, we've done a bit of live stuff, stand up and stuff. But she's sticking with it. She said, yeah, but you haven't done anywhere the size of this. I said, look, I did the Palladium last Sunday. And I thought, she looked at me like, you're not supposed to be arguing. I don't think you're supposed to be arguing with me. You're supposed to just nod. It was a really awkward thing. And then he comes over, Edward.
Punches you in the face.
It won't be as good as that, but I'll tell you after this.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novellie. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. And don't forget, Tim Key will be along later. Comedian, poet, actor, voiceover artist.
Voiceover?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did that thing.
He does a lot of things.
He does a lot of things. We'll ask him about them rather than talk behind his back.
Go on then, you were telling us about Eddie.
I'll tell you the thing about... I don't know if this is old age, the fact I was ill, or the fact it was Prince Edward, but I can't remember the first thing he said to me. I said, oh, well, that's a good review, because that was also quite a negative thing about our performance, but I can't remember what it was. If David Baddiel's listening, he might remind me. But he went on to say that a lot of people think that he is Charles's son, not his brother. Oh. And as he was telling me, I thought, I've never in my life met anyone who thinks that. But fine. And then, I don't know, I mean, don't get me wrong, they were sort of, they were nice. I think what's happened is they don't really do this stuff much. And they're a bit, they've been a bit reduced in numbers for various reasons. Mm-hmm. And so they're being pulled out to do this. And it's a bit of a skill, just talking to someone for 10 minutes and not upsetting them. But there was a bit where it just died, the conversation, which it never happens with the royals. It just died, and there was a moment which probably was 3 seconds and felt like 10 minutes. And he said, so, things are well? And I thought, no, come on. And in the end, I started to think, I wanted to put my arm around him a bit. I think it's tough.
Well, if you're not match fit either.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Rusty off the bench.
That's it. They've been called off. It's like when the reserve goalie comes off. No, you know what I mean? You're like, he wasn't even expecting it. I'll wear my gloves. Oh man!
You didn't see Prince Edward in his sort of waterproofs and trackies jogging on the spot.
No, it was. Yes.
How did he round things off? Was he a good finisher?
I think he was just.
He just spat on the floor and stormed off.
Glad to get away. Yeah, he just slapped me across. Yeah, no.
Poked you with his cane in the eye.
She was. Also, I got a bit distracted when he was talking to us. Is that? Do you remember I told you? Think back. I went to Gifford Circus, and there was 2 women who hung by their hair from high. Do you remember me telling you about that? And I was fascinated. I took photos so that I could sort of, when you do that thing that make your picture go bigger on your phone.
Yeah.
To see if I could see any connection that was fake in it. But the bigger it went, the more it was just someone hanging by their hair. It's incredible. So I was very keen to go and speak to them, and they were in the lineup later on, but they went quite quickly. But I was talking to Maisie Adam, the comedian, and she said she didn't know what they did because you don't get to see everyone's act. But she said that they went off and then they came back into the dressing room later with ice packs on their heads. So it must really, it must really hurt the hair switch. Oh man, they must be tearing away their scalps.
Do you think there was a chance that the ice packs were just having spoken to Sophie Wessex?
Oh, I feel bad now about Sophie. Look, it was, I was rubbish, and they were, like I say.
It's a bit insensitive having hair-based acts, though. I'm just saying.
Why?
There are people present who maybe that's not.
I think you wouldn't want hair if you saw someone with an ice pack on their head because their hair was hurting so much.
Did Edward talk to everyone then?
Oh yeah, they did the full rounds. I'm sure it went well everywhere. Maybe I was just, I don't know. Oh, anyway, that was it.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We have some news in regarding the Severn Bore, don't we, Pierre?
Okay.
A lot of people out there are surprisingly well informed regarding the Severn Bore.
I'd say in that area, it's seen as some mystical presence. The Severn Bore, in case you've just tuned in, I was talking to Becky Hill, the musical star, and what do we call her? A dance? Is that what kind of music it is?
Yes, I think so.
I don't want to, there's probably some category I've never heard of. Producers hiding. I look for the younger, but just not helping me at all. Too late. Anyway, and she's from Bewdley, where a phenomenon on the River Severn is a wave called the Severn Bore, which I'm not sure when it happens, but I believe some try to surf it.
Yeah.
Well.
So what's the news on the?
Well, 3457 gets in touch, and I think I'd get on with 3457. It's just facts, this message.
Okay.
The River Severn has the 3rd highest tidal range in the world. Only the Bay of Fundy in North America and Ungava Bay, Hudson Straits are bigger. The tidal range can be as much as 15 metres. This combined to the funnel-shaped estuary causes the incoming tide to create a great bore.
Oh.
This is this is cotton-paste communication.
I think this person is some sort of expert who, when the second you mentioned it, knocked over a hot coffee in their rush to get to their phone.
I quite like them.
Text us.
I like them.
I'm going to ask them to identify all the pictures with bridges in, and then all the pictures with bicycles in.
I find that really tricky. The traffic lights always stump me. Because are you including the edge of the traffic light box? What about the mountains? Is that a mountain?
Or the pole?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't include the pole.
Do you
and
not?
It seems to work.
Controversial.
But the bicycle, I was doing the bicycle the other day, and there was one. It's on. When you get them upside down on the back of a
Yes.
was one of those, and it's a really dark picture. And I thought, oh, I can't.
I think it's very cruel. They shouldn't
It's
do that.
hard.
Have you ever had lorries?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, have you?
Buses.
Flights of stairs once.
Oh, yeah, I've had five. Anyway, this is... are you a robot anecdotes?
If you're listening, none of us are robots. Please don't tell anyone that we
We've
are.
also, for some reason, all the correspondence we've received regarding the Severn bore is from people with a 7 in their number.
And bores. No, I would never say that about any of our readers. Can I say the facts person? We should also say thank you for getting in touch. Was a little bit. We were a bit cheeky about them.
Well, hold on to your horses, because 575.
It wasn't as bad as don't give up your day job. No.
Nothing ever will be. 575 has news about the Severn bore. The Severn bore is the result of the rising tide being funneled into the Severn estuary. However, it cannot get past the locks and weirs on the river. Any mystical waves at Bewdley are probably a result of fat ducks. That's from Jack.
I have to say, I thought it would be more interesting than it is, the Severn bore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there isn't a Severn. That's why Becky Hill's never seen it.
No.
Well, 906, the Severn bore doesn't hold a candle to the Wessex and Forfar bore.
Yeah. Harsh. I'm actually starting to feel sorry for them, even though they were beastly today. You know, when you've been a bit of a trooper, you want a bit. I wanted a hug.
Yeah.
Never mind. Incidentally, Sophie, I discovered after, was wearing earrings, which cost £250,000.
Gosh.
That I couldn't relax. Could you? I could not relax if I was out in it. I'd be constantly checking them.
You wouldn't want to sneeze.
Oh, man.
There's often I've been at events where there's a security guard hovering in the background if someone's borrowed some expensive jewellery. They have to accompany you all night.
With one of those sort of nets on the end of a bamboo pole, held under each ear at all times.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Yes, it's interesting. A lot of the information we are receiving about the Severn bore.
Oh, yes. Please, I think I maybe pressed the wrong button with the second ball.
You asked for bore, you'll get bore.
Yeah.
It does seem to have that sense of cut and paste. There's a lot of cut and pasting going on here.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why.
It's I don't understand anything about it, even though you've read out 2 explanations.
Okay.
I've completely switched off.
Yeah.
It's the thing you do as you get older. As soon as you think, no, I don't like this, I don't like it,
You go to a special place in your mind.
I don't like this information.
We've had Clive from Sheffield. Have you heard of somewhere called Budley?
Bodley.
Oh, well,
Is that not Bewdley that...
he spelt it Budley.
No, Bewdley is Bewdley.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah,
but Clive...
it might be a different place.
Well, maybe
We're
it
being a
is.
bit hard on the people who've said stuff into that. This is breaking the golden rule of radio.
Yes, but we apologise on behalf of all of us.
Yes, and we say we'd be nothing without you.
Yes, we've gone a bit far. We've gone a bit far more.
Yeah, we've gone too far.
But Clive says, I think what Clive must mean, you're right, is Bewdley Hillbillies, because it looked like Budley, but surely they should be known as. And you know, he's included a little emoji, and I like people that go that extra mile.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, do you include emojis ever on your
Well,
text?
I don't know how to do an emoji. I did, and I've forgotten. And recently, I sent a text, and I put on the end, I wrote... fingers crossed emoji. I just wrote it out. Yes. Because I can't... Every time I press for emoji,
What
I
happens?
get one of those things where it's like a cat and you have to put your voice in its mouth.
Cat lawyer. You don't want to go down the cat
No,
lawyer
you don't
road.
want to be cat lawyer.
Cat lawyer, I don't know what that, but yeah.
Star of Lockdown.
It was a star of one of the lockdown stars, Frank.
Okay.
Okay.
And we've got another lockdown star coming up on the show later with Tim Key. Yeah. So I keep getting those, and I have done those, but, it's a bit of a faff.
I don't.
I don't know what you press to
You
get.
press the emoji, babe.
Maybe there's something my phone doesn't have one.
I bet it does.
I
Well, have a look.
I got very keen on sending, those things where if it's someone's birthday, you send them a clip of Bette Midler jumping up and down saying happy birthday.
Yeah.
Then I found they weren't included in my package. And I was sending them regularly. It's costing me a fortune. So I don't send them anymore either. And then the other day, I had an update on my phone. And I never really read the update. When you get a thing telling you what the update's going to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing. They don't draw you in, these people.
No.
They don't start off bug fixes. I think I've heard again information I don't care for.
Yeah.
But this one, it says we'll let you edit or unsend a message that you just sent.
Oh, that's good.
That's changed everything.
It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah. But also, I don't know if it's a good thing, because there must have been stuff that's come from accidental sends and stuff, which has been good.
But Frank, think how much Bette Midler money you could have saved. To go, oh God, and quickly unsend Bette Midler.
No,
I
that's
like
too
it,
much.
is
I've
that-
probably already paid for Bet.
I like that he's slightly outraged that he doesn't have a package that includes Bette Midler saying happy birthday.
No, it wasn't just Bette Midler. I used lots of. Some of it would be like there was a squirrel drinking alcohol on one. I can't remember the point I was making. But
I've still got it.
I don't use them anymore. I don't know if it's in my package or not. Not risking it.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
The ball correspondence is still coming in.
There might be a brilliant one that we're overlooking.
It's coming in waves.
I don't want people to very good. I don't want people wasting their 50 pence texts things.
No, not when they could be putting that towards valuable Bette Midler gifts.
Yeah, exactly. You got to prioritise in this difficult time.
Danny Tolhurst. Oh, I like him.
Already, he hasn't said anything yet.
No, I like the name Tolhurst.
Okay.
I like a toll. It's got a slightly medieval vibe to it. For an actual fan club, how about Mercy Buku? Betku. It's all gone very quiet. It's got Shiva
Mercy Beku.
Betku.
Mercy Beku.
Yeah.
Beku. Flawless in my opinion.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me, but I love it that people contribute.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think we're going to beat the Bewdley Hillbillies.
Beckley
Hillbillies.
Hillbillies, yeah.
Well, just say that one again. Mercy Beck who?
Mercy
Beku.
Okay.
Mercy Beku.
Mercy Beku.
The trouble is, it sounds a bit like you're saying Beck who, which is not. It's the opposite of the fan thing.
No, rude.
But, God loves a trier. I don't know if he loves Lars van Trier, the Scandinavian film director.
Yeah.
But I imagine he does. He loves everyone. Okay.
That's nice to know.
Yeah.
Regarding your incredible experience that you recounted with it was your PR, I think, who described Marmite as being quite divisive, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, last week I was saying that my lovely PR, Lucy, I was eating Marmite. And she said, it's weird, isn't it, Marmite? Because I really like I can't stand it, she said. Whereas my dad He absolutely loves it. It really divides people. And I don't know, I laughed for about 3 days on and off, thinking back to that vote. And I saw her. She was at the RVP. And I told some other people with my arm around her about the story. And everyone thought it was hilarious. She took it well.
Oh, good. Well, we've got another equivalent in from Rob.
Okay.
It says, morning team. Frank's Marmite comment last week reminded me of something similar. I was walking with a friend recently along a canal towpath. We stood and watched a small duck diving under the water in search of food. This paints a nice picture, Rob. My friend commented, it's amazing how quickly all the water disappears off the duck's feathers, isn't it? I did reply, it's almost like water off a duck's back, but I'm assuming you won't read this section of the email. Many thanks, Rob.
I was in a car, and as we approached, again, it was a minicab, and as we approached Piccadilly Circus, the driver honestly said, it's always busy here. And I wanted to say, is it like? But I didn't. I didn't want to. I didn't want to make it awkward.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Regarding the common ignorance of both Marmite and water off ducks' backs.
Yes.
The other day, and I hope she'll forgive me for telling this on air, but I realised my partner had no idea that the light on a taxi on the roof of the cab.
On a black cab, yeah.
On a black cab is how you can tell if it's available or not.
Oh.
She just never, somehow that piece of information had just flown. So she thought that black cab drivers in London were far ruder and more sort of
Because they didn't stop.
They just never ever stop half the time. She would sort of be baffled by...
Oh, you know what she's missed out on as well? And I would say in her defence, I believe that we've all got those ridiculous holes in our knowledge, which we can't even work. People look at us and say,
Yes.
what, you didn't know that? But... when it's like midnight and you're in a city centre and you see that orange light in the distance and you think, will it get to me before someone else hails it on the thing? That's a very exciting moment. She's never had that, but she will now.
Yeah.
You said you'd show her the bright lights.
And you did. Well, I once said, this is I'm very ashamed of this. But, you know, I like to think this is a safe space. I like to think that. We'll
Yes.
soon discover. I said to the newsreader, Dermot Murnahan, once, he told me he was running the marathon, and I said, oh, how many miles is it? And he laughed. I got to quite an old age before realising there was a set mileage to a marathon.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's 26. But there's a...
Now I know.
But isn't there a bit... Isn't it 26 plus?
And like a little bit, it's so 26.1 or something.
Yeah, I mean, they've asked for trouble, haven't they, with their stupid little bits on it. Make it a nice round 26 miles.
Who's asked for
And also
trouble? A
26.
marathon.
Make it 25. Who wants to be... You know.
Who invented it, Pierre? Was it the Greeks?
Yes, Pheidippides.
Marathon.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
I even knew the bloke.
Pheidippides collapsed and died.
Oh dear.
Yes, because whatever it was, that there was an Olympics, which was 1,000 years or 100 years of the Olympics or something, and they went back to Athens to celebrate it, the home of the Olympics. And it was a beautiful, emotional moment. But if you say England's the home of football, you're a fascist.
I bet the ancient Olympics was a bit rubbish.
I bet they...
But imagine how rubbish all the equipment and things was.
yeah, and also...
They were all nude, though.
They were.
Oh, they were, yeah. Yeah, they were all nude.
So that would have added an element of thrill and
do you
danger.
know that?
You don't want to be nude you don't want to be nude that close to a lion. No.
Oh, not with the javelin. Oh,
No,
it seems
yeah.
fraught with problems, this nude Olympics.
Yeah, but and also it makes sponsorship very tricky. What do they sponsor? Where do you put it?
What about if they've signed a deal?
I mean, I always think it looks bad when the snooker players have it on their waistcoats, but
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with bit garbled, do you think? This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novellie. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. So, Tim Key.
I think that's quite a nice voice for you moving forward.
Yeah, well, imagine if I just adopted it as a full-time.
I thought maybe that was your at-home voice.
I do like singers that do the proper, the full-on English enunciation, like Julie
Yes.
Andrews.
Yeah, I like to hear the
That
lyrics.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you've written the lyrics. Let's hear them.
Yeah. And rolling the R's.
Yeah, get them rolled.
Yeah, all right.
Not going to roll themselves, are they?
Quite right. Can we, just before we go into what you're trying to sell this time, Tim,
It's a card.
we're in the midst of a marathon debate.
Sure.
And you are, I don't know if people are aware of this, but one of the few genuine sports fans that I know.
Yeah, I was listening to the England-Pakistan test on the way here.
Yeah, I watched it this morning. How's it going?
Babar Azam just got his century.
It's the soft pitch and
Yeah.
Kookaburra.
Yeah, pointless.
Anyway,
Still, I went for that ahead of this.
yeah. But nevertheless, no. When I say a sports fan, is I like football and cricket,
Yeah.
a bit of boxing, but then I'm starting to falter a bit.
Oh, I don't falter. I stay strong.
Tim will watch any kind of
Does
sport.
he?
Yeah, you name it, Emily.
I will.
Yeah, here we go.
NFL.
No, not NFL songs.
And one, I believe, did you
I don't
go?
stand it.
Did you go live to see synchronised swimming?
Oh, but that's not sports fan, is it?
Yes, I did.
Come on.
2012, the Olympics.
Okay.
I went with my mother to watch the synchronised swimming.
Lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it's lovely. That's a very wholesome story.
Yeah. Who won?
Oh, the Australians.
So
A lot of sledging in that synchronised swimming. A lot of sledging.
yeah, can you? It's sledging. I think is undermined when it's I bet you don't know how to. So it's an incredible. It's one of those things that it's like close-up magic. I can't believe it can be done.
Which one? Synchronised swimming?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know.
you tried it, Tim?
Not tried it, no.
No.
But I could believe it.
It's amazing watching
still
it up
can't
close.
believe
I
it.
went to a wedding where there were synchronised swimmers.
Who was getting married? Busby Barkley.
Why were there
was
synchronised swimmers?
extraordinary. It was
As in, there was some guests you got talking to and you found out.
No, there was a display involved in the wedding.
In what? In what? In
It was
a pool.
a place with a pool.
Oh, okay.
Has to be a pool, Frank.
rooftop.
Well, it could have been an
venue.
enormous glass tank, like
Yeah,
in
could
a
have been a
Sing.
tank. Yeah, could have been a tank.
You know, in Sing, when the tank splits.
What's Sing? Oh. I know the. What's the other one called?
The animate Sing 2, the other one's called.
I love Sing too.
Yeah,
oh,
well,
right,
that.
the water tank. Yeah. No, I'm thinking of The Shape of Water. They've got a tank in that, haven't they?
I'll be like, yeah.
Have you ever done a phone in about tanks in films?
No, because once you get into war films,
Yeah, that really opens it up, doesn't it?
we used to have a man. I used to drink in a pub in Birmingham, and a man would come in, an Irish man, and he would collecting for a local hospice. And when you put money in the tin, he'd say many tanks, many tanks. And my friend used to call him Irwin after Irwin Rommel, who had many tanks. So I forgot that when we were talking about unusual nicknames the other week, what happened? Oh yeah, shut up now. It's a break, okay, and then we'll come back. We haven't talked about the marathon.
No, you did an opening question about the marathon, and then it sort of got away
You
from you.
can't
Didn't it?
end the link,
It's
Frank,
I
with-
find it very hard to hold.
It's just trying to end a link with shut up now.
It's like sand running through my fingers.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can we just get this marathon business out the way?
Then we can get deep into key.
Okay. Hi, Frank, Emily and Pierre. And you, Tim.
Oh.
I think we were discussing marathons before you arrived. I think the original distance was the distance between Athens and Sparta, or something like that. It was to do with the Battle of Marathon. And I believe the London Marathon is the exact distance between two of the royal residences, which accounts for why it is not exactly 26 miles.
That's
Louisa
royal
in North
residences?
Somerset. Well, we had someone else was in touch about which particular royal residences it was.
Buckingham Palace and...
No, Windsor Castle to the Royal Box in the 1908 Olympic Stadium.
Okay.
That's from what, 220?
I did... do you remember that Ron Save the World, Ron...
Around the
Whatever
world,
that thing
world,
was called.
yeah.
What was it
that?
called?
Run the World.
It was one of the first charity
1985.
things. Yeah.
No, it was called Run the World.
Okay.
Wow, wait.
And I ran the world, and that we ran. It was 10,000 metres was the idea, and in Birmingham, to make it work, that it went from the Birmingham city centre to the stadium, I think we ran something like 11,500. Just so it's a bit loose, this running thing.
Do you remember your time?
Oh, it was 4.5 hours. No, I remember a man eating 4 Mars bars before we started. This was in the early days of the running thing.
Yeah.
And he read somewhere apparently that you need carbs. He had 4 Mars bars.
Are they carbs?
I don't know. Like I say, it was the early days.
Oh yeah, they still had lasagna sheets in Mars bars then, didn't they?
Exactly. And I saw him about a couple of miles on getting rid of the 4 Mars bars into a drain.
Yeah.
So that was a mistake.
You're very much supposed to carbo load the night before, I think.
But I think the original messenger that had started the whole marathon thing with news of the Battle of Marathon collapsed and died having delivered his thing.
And having eaten 4 marathons.
Yeah. Well, they probably weren't called marathons yet. Still Snickers.
We've got all sorts of questions.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I ran the marathon.
You did.
Yeah, 4 hours, 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
You did not run
Yes,
a
I
marathon.
did. Yes, I did.
You ran a marathon? What?
Are we cool?
Oh, okay. Was it a long time? The early days of the marathon?
Yes, it was the early days of the marathon. It was
When it was 4 miles?
2009.
Okay.
Yeah, same year I won the Perrier.
Ah.
Oh.
Okay.
I wasn't carrying it.
No, that would have been great, though.
Do you want to know what Ruth Jordan has to ask you?
Yeah, I always like to hear from Ruth.
Could you ask Tim Key when he comes in, as Frank once gave Tim Key notes about his stand-up show, could Tim perhaps help Frank and Dave improve their Three Lions performance so it meets the approval of the Wessexes?
Yeah, well, there's not a quick fix, I don't think, for that sort of song. I think what I would say is if you... I don't know what your plans are, but keep doing it every World Cup or Euro cycle, and I think it will just sort of gradually improve over the next 20 years, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't make any plans in the range of 20 years.
I like this incarnation.
What's happening? Oh, sorry. I'm so confused that Tim's run a marathon. I can no longer operate the show.
4 hours, 4 minutes, 5 seconds.
That was good.
Overtook Gordon Ramsay on the home straight.
No.
Yes.
And
to be fair to the guy, he was signing autographs.
Okay. He once said to me, as we sat next to each other in the garden of Elton John's villa in Nice, he said to me, I'll tell you what you'd like, Frank. He said, the Iron Man competition. I said, I don't think I would. He said, no, you would. You'd love it. He said, you run, and it's something like, I don't know what it is, but it's 70 miles running, 70 miles cycling, and 60 miles swimming.
Yeah.
And I said, my problem with that is that I can neither swim nor cycle.
Now, what did he say?
He started talking to someone else.
It's a bit Elon, isn't it, the Iron Man?
I can't. I can't imagine there'd be anyone in it who I wanted to talk to.
I've run an Iron Man.
I bet you have. Who won? You or him?
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I don't know if it was the last time you was on, but certainly on a previous occasion, you brought some playing cards.
I did, yeah.
Now, anyone who's never seen Tim, playing cards feature quite highly in his stage set because they've got poetry written on them, which
Which what? You're about to make another point there.
Yeah, I lost faith in it.
Yeah, okay. I thought it might be mean.
No, not
good,
at all.
Good.
I love your stand-up.
Thank you.
Like, I love dime bars. Endlessly good.
But I've never seen you eat one.
No? That's because I'm laughing too much.
Yeah.
So, you've got a Christmas playing cards.
Yeah. So, me and my friend and designer, Emily Juniper, we made some...
Emily Juniper.
Yep.
I love Emily Juniper.
She's fantastic.
She's like the Lady of Shalott. I'm guessing she sits somewhere and creates beautiful things.
She does. And then once she's finished creating them, she then... we're quite a small operation, so then all the boxes come to her, so then she's sort of crouching amongst the boxes.
No, I don't feel Emily Juniper should be doing admin.
There's two Emily Junipers. There's the creative Emily Juniper, and then there's the Emily Juniper, the publisher.
Oh.
And then she's packaging them all beautifully and sending them out. And then she takes a breath, has a walk next to the ocean, comes back to...
Where is she housed?
Where do you think? I've housed her in Falmouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I found her lodgings in Falmouth.
Right.
Did you buy her some goth clothing?
She buys her own goth clothing.
Good.
Tim's books are also done by Emily Juniper, and it really is. It's like you buy a book, but you've bought a little objet d'art.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, this is not going to put the Rob bonnet on the baby. What? Tell us about your Christmas playing cards.
Oh, right. So we made some playing cards. That was more or less our first project about 5 years ago. And they were just poems and little conversations. And then Emily Juniper made them look beautiful. And then this time, after those books, which were a bit of a hassle, we decided to go back to the playing cards. So these
you never hear people like Dickens saying the thing is with the books, that's a bit of a hassle.
Or indeed anyone promoting their books.
No.
Have I said I'm promoting them?
No, all right.
I'm talking about them.
Okay.
They'll promote themselves.
Oh.
But you know what it's like writing a book. I've read your book.
Yeah, well, I've read your book.
Yours
all
is
right.
Fantastic.
I've read your book.
That one with the that one with the purple cover.
Oh yeah, that one. That is fantastic.
That's an absolute rip roarer. Can we promote that?
Tell us about your Christmas.
Every year I do Christmas poems. When it gets to December, I change my set into my Christmas set, and so I've sort of built up a well of these Christmas poems, and so we've put the two ideas together. So these are a pack of playing cards with my, to be fair, quite kind of despicable Christmas poems splodged on the front. And to be fair to your producer, she's not sure about me reading any of them.
Well, we're all anxious.
Too hot for radio.
Every time we move on to the subject, I feel a tension in the room. But we're actually gonna risk it after this. And can I say if there's any children in the room, I'd get them out now. Give us an example of what we might find on a Tim Key Christmas card.
Okay.
I feel stiff with stress.
Well, this is a poem from my deck of playing cards. Thatch bought his missus Scalextrics for Christmas. You've bought that for yourself, Thatch. How dare you? Thatch shot back. His car was zooming round the track. With his spare hand, he was unwrapping the packet of Camel Lights he'd stuffed in Nicky's stocking in the wee hours. He absolutely loved Christmas. Clean as a whistle.
Yeah, it was clean. I was a bit worried about the pronunciation of Scalex.
Well,
is it Scalextric, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you made a common error. A lot of people put X at the end.
It's like Cliff Richards, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't pulp the cards, can I? In fact, the good news is I've written Scalextric.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So
that's probably Emily.
We can proceed.
Check that.
No, that won't, but Emily? Emily's not in charge of that stuff.
I thought she might copy proof.
She doesn't even read it. She just puts it on the page.
She probably thinks it's clean and respectable.
Yeah.
Sent them out to her family this Christmas.
Just scripture.
Yeah, like a deck of cards. You know a deck of cards?
What's that?
It's a recitation.
Deck of what?
Well, here's the thing. If you count the values of all the cards and add them together, what do you think you'd arrive at?
Oh, it would be something big. It'd be like when that chap puts grains of rice on each part, each square on the chessboard.
Yeah, for want of a right and the nail, the horse was lost.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm going to go for. Hang on. I'm going to go for. Wait a second.
This is not great radio.
No.
Tim.
Shall I read another card?
No. Yeah.
280.
It's 364, and then the two jokers give you either a standard year if you take one of them, or so every fourth year you'd add the other joker. So you've got the number of days in the year. 52 cards, the number of weeks in the year. And then 4 suits for the number of weeks in a month.
4 suits number you've got from working on production. I know it's a bit more than that.
Yeah.
And 1 deck of cards for 1 year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so, yeah. So, Deck of Cards was a recitation in which he says that. And it's basically a do you want to hear a bit?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
This is basically a soldier is found in church with his playing cards out. Luckily, they weren't Tim Key's. And they said, "How dare you bring playing cards into church?" The great thing is, it was an American hit, I think, originally, but Max Bygraves, the British comedian, did a cover version, and just his voice on anything is funny. But get a listen to this. Is how they ask him to explain why he's got playing cards in church, and he says this.
When I look at the ace, it reminds me there is but one God. And when I see the deuce, it reminds me the Bible is divided into 2 parts, the Old and the New Testament. When I see the tray, I think of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
When I see the tray. What are you talking about, Max?
He's lost it. What's his word for 4? He's getting further and further from English as he goes through it. The father.
Look, I can't play all the cards. Well, I could, I suppose. I could just play the track, but I don't think that would go down well. But it's a funny old thing. But in contrast to your cards.
Yeah, I'm surprised we went down that route once I started talking about my cards. It's fun to suddenly hear Max Bygraves.
well, we're gonna, and then you can.
Okay.
That was a very shorthand version of we're gonna have a break and then we'll come back. I'd like at least. Can we do one more card?
Of course.
Okay.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Tim Key is going to read one more card.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
Here it comes then. Jackson started miming that he wanted a divorce. That's your asking.
I like it so far.
Okay. Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
His wife was clapping her hands in delight. She had no idea. She was asking him how many syllables it was. He kept pointing at her and she kept shouting, "Wife" and "Monica." He kept miming tearing a piece of paper in half. She kept shouting, "Rip." She was laughing and clapping her hands together. That's good, clean fun.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Look, yes. Well, they're obviously they're going to be brilliantly funny because Tim Key wrote them. And if you don't mind them being some rude ones in your pack, you should get some. How does one just go to a shop and buy these?
These are not... a lot of stuff you can do that, can't you?
Yeah.
No, these aren't in shops.
Eggs.
Yeah, eggs you can do. Yeah.
How do we get a pack?
Good point. I'll go back to Emily Juniper and work out how we can get these out.
If you're plugging it.
Tim,
No. You go to you can go to my Instagram.
come on then.
And Tim Key Poet, I think it is. Or you can get them from Emily's website, Utter and Press, UTTER, and then obviously and press, all one word. .co.uk. and you can click on there, or you can Google them. I mean, you can find them. If you want them enough, you'll get them.
Yeah, I think that's...
Not some mythic
There's
quest.
lots of things in life I've thought that about. It hasn't worked out. And you're on tour next year. Quite a big one, in fact.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I think you've made it bigger than it needed to be.
I think I've done that. Yeah, you've seen the show.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
Oh, right.
It's just that you've done lots of, like, average-sized places. Instead of doing a big one somewhere, you've done, like, 4 nights. I mean, what is it? Are you homeless?
No, not homeless. You're not homeless, are you?
No.
Why is he giving you advice on
No, I'm just saying...
I'll always listen to advice from Frank.
Look, I prefer
we've got no choice.
I
don't
prefer
have a choice.
smaller venues.
Yeah, I prefer a small event.
Just as well.
That's why I've done it. So, and they're not small, thanks, Frank.
No, they're not small.
No, they're not. So,
but like in Bristol, you're doing 4 nights, whereas you could have done just a bigger place in Bristol.
Ever heard the phrase, I like Bristol? I'll get myself an Airbnb, won't I, Frank?
Okay.
I'll walk around the city.
Yeah. And there's one, you were doing Oran Moor in Glasgow.
Right.
And then I see something I've never seen. Never seen on a set list. Venue upgrade.
Yes.
Glasgow Tramway. So what does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you what it means is, it means I don't want to come on your show and have to defend the phrase venue upgrade.
Well, you might not want to.
Well,
I think you ought.
Well, it means it's sold out. And it sold, and it sold out quite quickly, actually, Frank.
Yeah, but it did.
Yeah, and so we did a venue upgrade so we could get some more people of Glasgow to watch the show.
If I was at Oran Moor, I'd think, thanks very much, we sold all your tickets, and now you're calling another place an upgrade.
It's not me calling, though, is it?
You two.
Yeah. And then it finishes off at Alexandra Palace. Got an issue with that, Frank? That's quite big.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's all shabby chic now, isn't it?
Yeah. That's more your size, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the biggest venue you've played, Frank?
The biggest venue.
Oran Moor.
I've never played Oran Moor. Anyway, it's lots of dates. They're mainly sold out. But if he's near you, there's no such thing as sold out in my experience.
No, there isn't. Just rock up.
I just went. I remember turning up at Cliff's Pavilion in Southend, and there's a massive sign, Frank Skinner sold out. And I said, "Oh, that's great." He said, "Yeah, there's about 34 tickets left."
Yeah.
I said, "No,
I turned up to Stephen Sondheim with you.
Yeah. You can often get if you're prepared to sit on your own. There's always a chance.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Is that one of yours?
No, yeah. But also, you can buy tickets. That's the other option.
Yeah.
I didn't come on here really for you to sort of tell people to explore options of getting in for free.
No, because a lot of them are sold. I never said for free. Yeah, I'm going to give the height of some of the windows in these venues.
Instead of giving ticketing info, he said, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. And you've got your Crimbo Bimbo show as well.
Yeah, I do, yeah. That's sort of me reading out my Christmas poems.
And that's at Pleasance, London, isn't it?
Yeah, that's big enough for you? It's lovely venue.
In my experience, it's a COVID fest.
Oh, right, sure. Okay.
We'll be all right this year. Okay, that's also sold out, but there'll be singles.
Oh, there'll be singles for sure.
So it's all going very well.
Oh, swimmingly, yeah.
And quite deservedly so, if I may have a moment when I just think I say you are a brilliant comedian.
Thank you, Frank.
And I love you.
I love you too, Frank. I'll drop some cards round to you in the week.
Yeah, just turn up like you did before. We'll talk on the step as if it was lockdown.
Yeah. I'd like to be invited in, but...
Tim, it's great having you on.
Thanks for having me.
And buy Tim's playing cards from... it'll require a little bit of detective work.
utterandpress.com or .co.uk, can't remember.
Utterandpress.com. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.